I'm going to tell you 16 things I wish I had known when I was in my 20s, because it would have saved me a lot of time, money, and heartache. So here we go. Don't waste your time on petty fights and arguments. Who left the top off the toothpaste does not matter. It's not even worth a comment, much less going into a fight. When my wife and I were in our 20s, we get in these little dumb arguments that turn into full-blown fights. They'd last an hour or hours, a day, or even sometimes multiple days. And we eventually get to this point where we're so exhausted over fighting, we're like, all right, how do we get over this? How do we get through it? We couldn't even remember what started the fight. What I learned in that was sometimes I'm just taking myself way too seriously. Everybody doesn't have to get my point, agree with me, or understand what it is I'm saying. That's when you have to start thinking big picture. Is it worth the time, effort, and energy? And is it going to do anything to positively impact my life or others? And if not, I have to put it on the petty fight elimination diet and eliminate. Every day is a new day. You can start over every day if needed until you get it right. And in fact, you can start over every hour in a day if needed until you get it right. The only way to get in front of the things you want to put behind you is to let it go and start over. Don't get caught in negative loops. Don't let your feelings dictate how you talk and interact with others. Specifically, I'm talking about those days you feel low energy, tired, down. When you feel like that, go out and get around people and project the exact opposite. Your brain does not know what to do with that. And your brain eventually gives up and goes, all right, you go be nice to people. Even though we're not feeling like that today, you go be nice to people. And I'm gonna go over in the corner and pout. Every time you do this, you keep training your brain to do the things you don't feel like doing. In fact, when you have something you know you should be doing or you wanna be doing and you don't feel like it, that's when you know you need to do that. You have to do that. That's how you get your brain to start accepting the fact that you do things you don't feel like doing. This is a big one and possibly one of the hardest ones. Do not worry about what people think about you. And definitely don't listen to those people who doubt you. They are just another reason to make sure that you make it happen. We can't let other people discourage us from pursuing our goals and dreams. And if I had $1 for every time I was told throughout my life, you can't do that, you're not going to be able to make that happen, I could literally buy a car. Maybe not a car, but like a surfboard. I love the saying, it's not my business what other people think about me, because it doesn't matter what other people think about me. I know what I think about me, and I know what it is I want to do. So if I'm determined to do that, and delusional if necessary, that's all I need. Real noteworthy people that were once accused of being delusional are Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. There's many, many more, but that kind of tells you what being delusional can do for you. Explore your spiritual side. There is a much bigger picture than this little fishbowl that we are swimming in and consumed by. In fact, it may be impossible to find out who you really are unless you have some form of a relationship with God. One thing that's for sure, there is good and there's evil. You got to pick a side and stick with it. Because if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Do not conform. And let me tell you why. Up to the age of 5, we use 80% of our creative portion of our brain. From 12 years old on through adulthood, we use 5% of our creative side of our brain. That is 100% the result of conformity and indoctrination. And John D. Rockefeller, who is the founder of the General Education Board, once said, I don't want a nation full of thinkers. I want a nation full of workers. Public education was designed to teach conformity. So take a walk on the wild side, think for yourself, and do not conform. Explore your passions. They may be the pathway that leads you to finding your purpose. Work hard and smart. We've all heard it. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. So put in the hard work. Otherwise, you'll end up settling, and God forbid, conforming, and being like the other 85% of this world who is miserable in their life and what it is they're doing. So it is worth the hard work. So grind, but don't get caught in the hamster wheel. Think scalability. Have goals and a vision for your life. And I'll tell you why. Yale University did a study for the 1952 graduating class. And in this study, they did a survey to see how many of those students had written goals and visions for their futures. 20 years later, they went back and interviewed those students. The 3% who had written goals and visions for their future were worth more than the other 97% combined. You don't have to have it all figured out by any means, but having goals and a vision for your life will get you started in the right direction. And a lot of times you may veer off that path and go to another path. But now you know how to do it because you have the goals, you have a vision, you know where you're going, you know how to implement those things. That's the important part of this. If you don't get started, you don't end up anywhere. Invest in yourself, read books, educate yourself, do self-improvement, but most importantly, apply everything that you learn by taking action. You'll save yourself a lot of money, time, and possibly even avoid therapy. Have a growth mindset and be a lifetime learner. Every day is an opportunity to grow and learn, and surround yourself with people who have that same mentality. Talk less, listen more. You can't learn if you're talking all the time. You only learn when you're listening. Even in situations where you're talking to somebody you don't think has anything to offer, if you learn one thing, it's worth the time and it's worth listening. Be a creator, not a consumer. And if you don't know which one you are, you're a consumer and you're the target. Life is like a poker game. And if you play poker, you know the saying, if you're looking around the table trying to figure out who the sucker is, you're the sucker. If you're a consumer, you're the product, not the creator. When you use the expression, I'm done, only use it in the context, the project, the task, the job is completed and well done. Not, I'm done, I give up, I quit. The pathway to success and fulfillment in life is the pursuit and the completion of the job well done. Learn the art of storytelling. Everybody remembers a good story, but rarely do people just remember the facts without a story. So become a good storyteller. You'll be more interesting, more effective, have a bigger impact on people, and a much better communicator. Give without the expectation of getting anything back in return. Living a life of service to other people, it'll give you more success, more happiness, more friends, and a life well lived. And last but not least, do the one thing. You can't do a whole lot of things at one time and get anything done well. You just get tired, burned out, and frustrated. But if you can focus on one thing at a time till completion and do it well, that builds up momentum, the win, to move on to the next. Narrow it down, do less, and do better. And you will be a much happier, successful person. That concludes the 16 things I wish I knew in my 20s. I hope you enjoyed this. I usually don't ask this, but if you did enjoy this, please like and subscribe. I can't say subscribe right now. I don't know why. I guess I'm burned out. I've been doing this way too long tonight, but subscribe if you like this video. And thank you for your time. Thank you for watching it. Going to bring another one back around next week, so stay tuned.